Definitely not the best day to be doing turbo things, but here we are.
Yeah, today's plan is to figure out why the 740 is so slow. We don't know what's going on. We saw a video, and it was full throttle. You could hear the turbo going, and it just wasn't going anywhere. Don't know if the transmission's slipping. Don't know if the tune's way off. Like I said in the last video, we didn't have a wideband on in the car or anything like that, so we didn't really know what the fuel was like. We were just running a tune I got from the tune cabinet. So I think we're gonna hook a wideband up today. We're gonna hook the IAT up that it doesn't have, and maybe just check some things to make sure it's actually like making the 100% throttle position and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it's snowy and like 28 degrees out and raining, so definitely not good boost weather. It's good boost weather, but it's not good traction weather, that's for sure. So
while I was gone, he got the wastegate plumbing corrected. So right off the turbo on the compressor side to the wastegate. So we should actually get an accurate boost control this time. And we got the wideband in the hole. We got to get a power and ground for the gauge so we can actually see what's going on. But for now, we're going to run that through the window and just find a power and ground on the inside. I was thinking we have the original O2 sensors hooked up and we don't need them anymore. We could wire it up with that, but then they're out here. The gauge needs to be in the car, so we might run it through the window for now just to get it running and get some testing done. IAT hooked up temporarily in that position. We found a fuse to pull in the fuse box for the O2 sensor, so we're going to wire it up there for now and then still send it through the window, and then when it's time to mount it permanently, when it has an actual permanent exhaust on it, we'll make a hole through the firewall somewhere or see if there's not one under this fuse box and run that back over to the driver's side.
So as you can probably hear, the car sounds sick. We have a weird rev hang issue that happened before, but we thought maybe we could try to figure that out today. But I think it's got a massive vacuum leak or something, but I'll see if I can replicate it real quick. So it takes forever to actually come down for 1400. And there's a light tip-in hesitation, but TPS seems okay. But if we go up real high, say we go to 2500, it always tries to settle around 1500, and I don't know if there's some weird throttle follower tuning in this that's messed up or if there's a mechanical issue. I'm kind of leaning towards the mechanical issue because it doesn't seem to do it every time, and it doesn't do it if you're driving, which is also weird. So I don't know, but we're going to try to investigate that some more and listen to the wonderful cam. So it turns out that I guess we don't need an IAC on this thing. Unplugged it, runs great. So either that IAC's bad or this tune isn't set up to work with the IAC. I'm not really sure which. Too bad. Yeah. It's a little lean, but it still felt pretty good.
How lean?
Yeah, we'll have to add a little more fuel under load. Yeah. So I'm adding about 10% more fuel. It was a little lean as it started to get into boost, right around 4,500 RPM. It would go to 13-1. Which in my experience, from what I've read at least, is too lean for a boosted setup. Obviously, I'm not any professional tuner or anything, but we're going to give it about 10% more. That should get us closer to the 11.5 to 1 or so. Even 12 to 1, I think, should be okay. And we're going to see if it's going to make some more power, but it started raining really hard, so I don't know how many more test hits we're going to do. It's definitely not super fast, but it does feel really good, especially compared to how it used to be. when it makes like a little bit of boost. I think it's got like a 6-pound spring. That's it.
So I started reviewing the data logs from yesterday and realized that even on this full pull, which I think is right here, TPS never goes over 85%. And I don't think we ever actually built any boost either. So that might be why it feels a little slow. But yeah, we definitely have some figuring out to do before we really commit to anything. It probably feels like a good 250, maybe 300 horsepower as it is, with the cam and the LS1 intake on that 5.3. But it's kind of underwhelming. I think that we were all hoping for a little more. Maybe once it makes some serious boost, it should do pretty well.
Ultimately, I think part of the problem is we don't know what wastegate pressure is. We don't know anything about that wastegate. I think it's a 6-pound spring, but we're not really sure. It's never made boost in like third gear. It's always just been long first gear rips because that final drive is so short or so long, I guess. It's a 281 with a truck 4L60, which is the same ratios as an F-body one. I would think it would feel comparable to like a stock automatic LS1 Camaro, like maybe like a 98, one of the early ones that didn't make a ton of power. I would expect it to feel about the same, and it probably does. It's about 1,000 pounds heavier. That car is like 4,200 pounds, and it had 400-pound dude in it. So that, all adds up, and it feels okay. We don't have access to a dyno, so we can't do any kind of like real tuning on it. But I'm going to go back next weekend. We're going to try to find like a long, straight country road so we can actually do some real testing, rather than just driving around the block doing like 40-mile-an-hour rips. And yeah, there was another thing I found in the tune that I don't know how much it'll actually affect anything, but the final drive that was set in that tune was for a 373 truck, and this has a 281. So I'm not positive, but I think the transmission takes the vehicle speed input for the car. It takes the pulses per minute off the VSS in the tail shaft of the trans, and then it divides that by, I think, the road speed constant, which should be the final drive ratio, I believe. Not positive, but I think so. So another possibility is anything speed based, which would be like torque converter lockup. I think the shift points on a 4L60E are speed based. Those would all be wrong, which would also make the car feel like an absolute dog, which is kind of what it feels like. If the vehicle speed in actuality is 10 miles an hour, but it's reading like 21, it's going to lock the converter too early, or it's going to shift into the next gear too early, and then you're going to be working from a higher load, which may explain why even when you floor it in like second gear, it doesn't do shit. But yeah, everything else seems okay. We don't have a fuel pressure gauge on it, but if I give it more fuel, it responds on the wideband. So we know it's not maxing the pump out or anything. It's a 350 liter per hour pump. I think it should be good for the 450 to 500 horsepower target that we have. So yeah, hopefully the next video we actually get a little more done. But thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe.